Hello bestie, Podbot here. I've put together the best bits of the best bits bonus shows, taken from their Patreon. You can find a link to their Patreon in the show notes. You can also subscribe directly via Apple Podcasts, or you can sync through Spotify. Search the best bits bonus shows on Spotify for full access. For now, here's some highlights from the past 2 years worth of bonus shows. Enjoy.
You're waking up with
Hot Cock and the Cunt.
Oh, wakey wake.
Morning is upon us.
Breakfast with the best bits.
You were just telling me you were listening to Australian radio, morning radio, and is this its influence
Hot
creeping?
Cock and the Cunt.
That's right. Hello and welcome back to Mini Bits episode 27. On today's show, we have a jam-packed lineup for you. Coming up, we'll be discussing the latest film releases with our resident film critic, Will Collins. We'll also be delving into the COVID outbreak with our health expert, Will Collins. We'll be asking what you can do to ensure that you and your family don't get it. And we'll also be discussing the latest news stories with our roving news reporter, Will Collins. But first, it's over to Will Collins with the weather. Will.
How the fuck did you just switch that on?
It's called being a professional, Will.
Oh yeah, sorry, that's it. Hello and welcome to the Mini Bits. This is Will, and as always, I've been joined by Kevin.
He's my favourite. Goofy.
How are you, Will?
I'm exhausted, Kevin.
And I am joined by...
Will Collins. Hi, Kevin.
It sounds like you should be doing jazz hands. We've just spent at least 20 minutes with me trying to arrange my mic because for some reason the gimbal that it's attached to just keeps rising up above my nose.
Gimbal.
And I can't get it to the right height. And you've also been playing with your pussy.
I've been playing away, just getting stroking my pussy like mad here and showing it off to you. I love the
Yeah, it's very hairy. Well,
Hot Cock and the Cunt.
you know, there's
it's
words.
so juvenile.
You know, there's words that you like and there's words that you don't like. I like gimbal. Gimbal's a nice word. I like gimbal. Sounds nice, doesn't it?
Do you remember that was a line in Donnie Darko where Drew Barrymore's character said,
This famous linguist once said that of all the phrases in the English language, of all the endless combinations of words in all of history, that cellar door is the most beautiful.
cellar door.
Cellar door.
Yeah,
What?
something like that. And I remember thinking, my favourite word is chocolate.
Here, see how the thick Cadbury's milk chocolate melts with Cadbury's caramel.
Chocolate.
Chocolate.
It does sound so...
I love the word chocolate. Do you want some chocolate?
It's a nice word, chocolate.
It
Chocolate.
is.
But if you say it in the wrong accent, you're like, "You're chocolate.
Hey, choc ice.
Chocolate. Chocolate. You know.
I've said to you before that I think mini bits sounds like sweets.
That's
Can I
I
have
think.
a
And I
packet
said,
of mini bits and a choc ice, please.
and I've said back to you, that's probably the reason I like it. Because it elicits a sensation of me consuming sugar. Which is
Are
what-
you off chocolate?
At the moment, I'm in a
You're putting back on the weight, Will.
thanks very much, Kev.
I'm not just...
Appreciate the encouragement.
You're not. I just wanted to say something really shocking.
I am not strictly off the chocolates, but I'm definitely doing a bit of a cold turkey spell away from chocolates. But there's no point completely cutting something out of your diet, especially something if you enjoy it. So I'm just going to do a cold turkey to get rid of the sugar addiction for a spell. And then
I've cut mushrooms entirely out of my diet.
Oh, good. Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Making me very teary.
Oh, good.
Would you rather have an invisible dog that only you can see, that you love very, very much, and it loves you, but
Right.
no one believes it exists, and everyone in your life is getting more and more angry at you for constantly paying attention to the dog that they can't see? Or would you rather a dog that everyone around you loves and you can't see, that loves you so much?
Oh, God. I think if I had a dog that I really love that no one else can see, I think that is asking for so much trouble, right? I just think... And I think the kids would go along with it. The kids would go, "Oh my God, yeah, there's a dog. That would be great to have an invisible dog." Because you could, I assume you can.
No, but you'd have to walk that dog. You'd have to make sure. You have to make sure. You get home and you feed the dog.
You take him to the
That's-
vet. You still have to take the invisible dog to the vet. I'm like, you do.
You still got to pay for all the shots.
You have to take, if you go on holidays, you have to put him in a kennel.
Yeah.
In that instance, right? Do I know it's some sort of kind of curse on me that I know it exists, or am I in doubting the existence of this dog? I think that's a crucial bit of the
dog
scenario.
loves you either way. It's whether you can live with loving something that you can't see.
But I believe I'd be able to feel it, so I can
No,
physically.
you can't.
I can't feel the dog.
No. You can't feel it,
Oh.
you can't see it. You're just convinced that everyone around you's lost their
Is
fucking
it-
minds.
Oh God! If I have an imaginary dog that I know exists, that I truly believe exists, or the family, everyone else believes in this imaginary dog, and I don't believe it exists, how wearisome both scenarios would be. I'm going to go with I'll tolerate the imaginary dog. Who
At what stage would you start to doubt your sanity?
I would. You'd definitely have to see some sort of fucking neuroscientist and kind of figure out what's going on with me that I can't see this bloody dog.
You can't even hear the dog barking. Like,
Oh yeah,
The
so
dog is-
it's complete neglect. And like, imagine, and Karen's like going, "Will you stop pretending you can't see the dog?"
exactly.
And I go, "I genuinely can't see the dog." And she,
And you are absolutely shitting bricks every time you get behind the wheel of the car because you can't see whether the dog has run out under the wheel.
this is really a question about how you want to be perceived versus how you perceive yourself. If I was wandering around with an imaginary dog, I would hate the idea that people think I'm mad. I would probably prefer for myself to think I'm mad versus the world thinking I'm mad. And for me then to try, because at least I can try and solve that one.
For me, it's a very easy answer, this one.
Go on.
I'd keep the money.
This was a source of much amusement at home during the week. Did the communion on Saturday. Thursday or Friday morning, he got a card in the post and he saw the postman coming and he saw him holding a card. And he went, "That's another card for me. More money for big man Luke." And he opened the card and he got 20 euro, whatever was inside it. And he announced, "Do you know what?" He says, "You know my card money?" And we said, "Yeah." He says, I'm gonna spend my card money, but I'm going to save my communion money." And we went, "What? You're going to spend your card money, but you're going to save your communion money?" And we just said, what do you mean? And we thought, what does he think we're going to like give him a big wad of money for his communion or something like that? And so Karen probed and says, what do you mean your communion money? And he says, "Yeah, my communion money." "But what communion money? Where do you think the communion money comes from?" And I says, the basket. They hand around the mass.
Oh my God.
I thought he was going to get the basket.
I mean, there's not much in those baskets. I mean, the most I ever got was about $12.50. So a small change. Did you get to keep your communion money? I didn't get to keep mine. I got to buy something out of it, but all the money was gone.
Really? You got to buy something out of it, but it was gone. Did it go? It must have gone into like a credit union account or something.
I got to buy like a G.I. Joe action figure or something like that, and the rest was like, "Oh, you got to spare that, you got to spare that." Never saw no more of it.
I think I did spend I think I bought a transformer, a very expensive transformer, which I can visually remember my father just been so, just aghast the fact I was spending whatever it was, like £50 on a transformer. It was £50 or something like that on a transformer.
What
was
kind
mad
of fucking
money.
transformer was that?
Oh, it was like a jet. Yeah, it was made of metal. It wasn't like cheap materials. It was metal. You could kill someone with it. Like it was like proper chunky piece of kit.
Multi-purpose then.
And after about a week, the arm broke off. And I remember my mother going back to Rocha Stores. She bought it. We went on Rocha Stores with this transformer and the arm hanging off it and saying, can you get this? Can you fix it or give me his money back? And I don't think I ever got my money back.
Dirty bastards. That's Rocha Stores for. I'm glad they're gone.
Yeah.
I remember I had a Dinobot and I had the Triceratops Dinobot, and there was a fella that I used to go to school with, and he stole my fucking Dinobot. He took it. Couldn't really, because I was at an age where I couldn't go up and say, "Mom, he stole my Dinobot." I got it back, but I can't remember how I got it back.
Oh, wow.
I think I had to actually steal something from him.
Oh, hold it hostage.
Yeah.
Send notes.
And I refused to give it back, and I threatened to break it unless he gave it back to me.
Oh, it's pure hostage scenario. Oh my God.
Yeah. Absolutely flabbergasted at the fucking gall of him that he'd actually take the fucking thing. He'd steal it.
The impulse is there.
I thought, oh, fuck, this is Ireland for you. Will Anthony. Okay, that sounds like a pop star.
Yeah, but Will Anthony actually.
How can you be two Anthonys?
Oh, just a story behind it. Basically, it's confirmation before confirmation where you get your second middle name. So I got christened Anthony.
You choose based on a saint.
You choose it based on a saint, and you get to choose. And that year was the year that Simpsons kind of was becoming very, very popular. And everyone in my class wants to be called Bartholomew, right? So they all wanted to pick Bartholomew. But me, I wanted to be called Luke after Luke Skywalker, right? And
I need to ask you this now.
Yeah.
Did you name Luke after Luke Skywalker?
not after Luke Skywalker, but it was on the list. And it was actually Karen who went with it. So not after Luke Skywalker, but in my
And then Ellie's named after Ellie Sattler.
That's exactly how it went, 100%. So what ended up happening? It was we were in sixth class, and the principal we had was a very old school principal who used to, easily clatter. Used to bait you, but like he wasn't that bad, but he definitely had a reputation. Anyway, he was one of those lads you didn't fuck around with because he would tell you off or lift you up by the hair over your ear and stuff like that. He says, right, I want everyone's middle name. And I was the first guy on the row that he asked. In my head, debated, does he want to know what my current middle name is? Or does he want to know the middle name I want to have? So I flipped a coin mentally and I went, he wants to know my current middle name because he's going to ask me then what is my next one, my confirmation name. And I went, I'm just going to tell him what my current middle name is, which is Anthony. So I said Anthony, and he wrote it down and he went to the next lad and the next lad said Bartholomew and the next lad said Bartholomew. And 21 Bartholomew's later, I'm going, I need to put my hand up and tell him I want to be said to change my name to Luke. But I could not find the courage to say anything. And I said, I went home with this anxiety saying, tomorrow, you just need to go up to his desk tomorrow and just explain it to him. I did not. Cut to the actual day of the confirmation where we're dressed in our finery. And
pink linen suits.
Yeah. And I'm sitting there in my lovely sleeveless jumper. I had a sleeveless jumper. And I was
all the rage.
I'm holding a card in my hand with massive letters mockingly looking back at me, which read Anthony. And this was the card you handed to the bishop, and the bishop would give you your confirmation name. And I went, I'll just say it to the bishop. Just say it straight to the main man. And I went up and we all queued up, and you hand over your card to the bishop, and the bishop gives you your confirmation name. And I handed my card to the bishop, and I went, actually, and he just went, Anthony. And so I am now William Anthony Collins.
Did he not slap you?
Oh, he went down for a little funny tickle.
Yeah, but didn't they slap you in for your confirmation? And it was getting hyped up. Yeah, the bishop, he'd give you a little slap on the face.
Did he?
Yeah, that was part of the ritual. And everyone was building up. He's like, you don't want to get Bishop Lucy or whatever his name was. He'll wallop the fuck out of you. Last year, he was like battling them.
Oh, I don't believe that.
Yeah, and then it was just a friendly like slap on the face.
Did that really happen, or are you just messing?
No, that really happened. I bet you the heathens that listen to us know what I'm talking about.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Yes, you're Will Tony.
Tony two
Wasn't there a
times.
band called Tony? Or was it Tony?
I don't know, but I'm definitely like Tony Two Times. Reminds me of Goodfellas. There's a lad in town in Donegal here. I've never met him, but you know what his name is? The Future.
There's a musician called that, The Future.
Really?
Yeah. I thought you were going to say his name's like The Goosh or something.
No, it's The Future. I do not know why. It's like, why is he called The Future? And I've never gotten an answer. So yeah, The Future was down there. I was like, The Future? What the fuck?
It's because his bishop slapped him into next week.
Did you ever have a nickname growing up, Kevin?
I was called Bubble. That was my
Bubble?
nickname. Bubble, yeah.
Okay.
And I hated being called Bubble. And I don't know why I was called Bubble.
Right.
One of the fuckers said, ask Bubble over there or whatever it was. And they thought it was hilarious.
Oh, no.
And then it just stuck. And for 2 years, it was like, I was just bubble. And I just would not respond to it. I hated it. Because Michael Jackson had the chimpanzee Bubble.
My brothers called me Squally because it was...
But why Squally? As in Smalley?
It was a conflation of Wally and Squealer. So I would always squeal on them, like as in tell on them.
Oh.
So they thought, you're just a squealer. And I ended up Squally. That's what ended up fucking Squally's at it again.
Ah,
So that's how I got Squally. Yeah.
yeah.
So I'm
No,
the
I
little
have
kid who runs to teacher. Teacher! He was pushing me in the back. He's calling me nicknames, teacher.
All right,
worst.
Squally, let's get into it.
Fuck here. I'm just getting sent through. Why am I being sent through stuff? There was something
Oh,
else
is
I
it
wanted to
more
tell you.
job offers? I know exactly how you feel. Hang on a second. Let me just turn off my emails. Oh, God.
Karen sending me in. Do you know what she actually sent me in? I actually looked at it. It was a notification for a table quiz. Because I've been jealous of you going to your table quizzes on Sunday nights. And I was like, I'd love to go to a table quiz.
Do you think, Will, if you add 10 plus 10 and if you add 11 plus 11, that you'll get the same number?
Okay, I'm going to give you the dumb answer.
What's 10 plus 10?
20.
What's 11 plus 11?
22.
There you go.
Oh. Oh, you're so fucking sad. Oh, my.
Why does the letter W start with a D?
Why does letter W start with the letter D?
Yeah, it should be W. Because every other
This
letter
brings me up.
sounds like what it should be. B, T, P.
Yeah.
But W starts with a D.
But hold on a second. Think about this.
I'm starting the timer.
I thought you said I was going to start the timer.
All right. Well, somebody start the timer. Pod,
20,
you start the
25
timer.
minutes.
Oh my God.
25
okay.
minutes.
Yeah, we're definitely in a
30,
fight.
what do you want?
We're definitely in a
Do you
fight.
want 30 minutes? Oh, Jesus Christ. You're
15 minutes.
We're like the couple out. We're like the couple out for dinner.
What are you drinking?
And the
Water.
waiter comes, the waiter comes around, and you're the wife who's going, you're telling the waiter that we're just having a tip.
If you could leave us alone a second.
Jesus. But what do you want to do? Do you want to do? Shall we go for 30 or shall we do 25? What do you want to do?
Let the listeners decide.
Listeners, tell us psychically what we should do. Right, listen, I've just randomly gone for a number, all right?
Okay.
And it's going. And the
Don't tell me
timer's
what
started.
it is. It'll be tense.
Like the atmosphere.
We won the music round and we won visual round. And the fucking table decided, when we won both of them, to put the prizes into the Christmas hamper for the club. And I was like, open those fucking chocolates. Do you mind putting them behind the counter? I want those chocolates. And they wouldn't let me at the chocolates. And
Did
So I
they
was-
find you behind the counter, stuffing the chocolate with wrappers around you, your legs crossed on the floor, and fucking chocolate smeared across your
my
face?
eating disorder starts now. No, so I didn't get any chocolates.
Ah, poor Kevin.
Yeah.
Poor Kevin. I was going to tell you about the first Care Bears tape I ever got. Did I ever tell you the story?
Did you actually have a Care Bears tape?
I was sent a Care Bears tape by none other than Dempsey's Den. Did I ever
Tell me
you
this story.
Oh, lads. Oh, mortifying. So, I ended up on Dempsey's Den
I watched
twice.
You were on Dempsey's Den twice.
Anybody who didn't watch Friday's programme because they were so upset about the whole thing about Zig and Zag leaving, you probably weren't expecting to see them here today because you thought they were going back to the Planet Zog. But it was a big April Fool's.
Here.
And we're really sorry about it because I believe it upset some people around the country.
Yeah,
but
we're sorry
here
about that.
forever and ever and ever.
It was,
So
it
don't
was
you
only a
worry
joke.
about it.
They
We'll
should have
never
known,
go away.
Orion, because we're very bold at the joking.
Absolutely. And it
Yeah.
was your idea, Zag, or was it Zig?
On phoning. I was one of the kids on the call, on the telephone, right? Not
Were you
visual.
like the kid that rang into Snotzer and was...
No, this is pre-Snotzer, right? So this is
Oh my
early
God.
days.
If you don't know that clip, look up the quiz round with...
It's called
Is
What's Snots. Just look up Google What's Snots, and it's priceless.
Kevin,
Yeah.
would you like to ask a question? That's not.
I can't really hear you on the phone.
Sorry, Kevin, we're playing What's Not. Yeah, it's a quiz we do every Thursday. And it can be a person, place, animal, or object. And Kevin, would you like to ask a question to Snotzer? Like, are you a cow or something?
Are you a sheep?
Right, not a bad question. No, I'm not a sheep. We're going to speed things up and just say that I am a king.
You were on Dempsey's Den twice.
So twice, right? And okay, I would say the second time was probably the more embarrassing one because you had to ring. Well, I would get home from school, right? And my mother, and the odd time, my mother would have to go back in to pick up the boys or whatever it was. So I was left alone in the house. And Dempsey's Den was on. And I could see all these kids ring in and they would say, oh, just dial this number. So I was like, I'm going to fucking dial. I'm going to be on Dempsey's Den. And I would dial. And most of the time you would just get engaged. And I remember on 2 occasions, I got on, right? And I was on the show. And I was like, alone in the house. And the more embarrassing one was this. So the second time I was on, they said it was Zig and Zag. And it might have been Ray, but it might have been Ian. But basically Home and Away had just started on RTE2. It was the big soap opera. Everyone watched it. Okay,
I watched it. Yeah,
loved it. And
still can't get over the death of Bobby. Fucking,
it was
terrible.
pre that. So it was pre that, right?
Oh, years before that. That was first generation Pippa.
Yeah. First generation Pippa.
Before she regenerated.
For me to win the prize. So all we want you to do is sing the theme tune to Home and Away. I've been watching Home and Away every afternoon, like everyone else in the country, for the previous 6 months. And all of a sudden, the only thing that came into my head was this.
Neighbours. You're joking me.
And I'd never seen Neighbours. Never seen Neighbours. But I just kept singing
That has got
Neighbours.
to be somewhere. There's got to be a tape of that out there.
But guess what?
What?
Good old Zag. Zag was on the other end of the line. He went, you know we belong. So Zag was egging me along. And I was like, together, neighbors. Every time he'd leave me off of my own devices, I would start going back into Neighbours. And I don't know why. But one of the prizes they sent out was a Care Bears video cassette.
This is going to give you a little more insight into the differences between us. When I was about 17, I was left home alone. On my lunch break from school, I used to go to my nan's for my lunch. I'd walk up the hill, up Sun Valley Drive, up from the Mon. 17, you know.
Yeah, hard man.
Full grown man, that stage.
Hard man, yeah.
And my nan had a stroke a few years prior, and she needed to be minded. There was a thing within the family which is, whatever you do, don't let your nan near the telephone because she'll cause war. Right. Don't give her the phone. Don't let her ring anybody because she'll ring someone. And I was left home by myself for about 20 minutes. Just mind your nan. Nan's sitting in the wheelchair. And she's like tapping her hand, and she's in a bit of a funny mood, and she's listening to Marion Finucane. Uh-huh. Marion Finucane is doing a live.
Oh yeah.
She's doing a live debate about grown children living at home.
Mm.
My nan said, "Hand me the phone there," and I said, "Nan, I'm not supposed to give you the phone." She said, "Don't mind your fucking games. Give me the phone there." I said, "All right, Nan, but don't tell anybody." And so I rang the researcher. Nobody knows this now because it was all kept hush-hush. The researcher, and nothing else happened, and it was a really pleasant conversation. And I was in the kitchen pissing myself because my nan was scandalising the whole family, and this was on RT radio.
You are one bollocks.
I enjoyed myself though, and it was a good afternoon.
You had one job.
Have you ever been fired from a job?
Have I been fired from a job? I'm just trying to think. I remember being quietly let go from the council once. This is way long time ago in a different life.
I think you told me that story. You were working at the video shop at the same time.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that's right. So I did tell you this story. Yeah.
You did. Well, there's nothing you can tell me that I don't already know.
Have you ever been fired?
Karen fills me in on everything.
Have you ever been fired?
Yes. Right. I was fired from an insurance job. I hated the job. I mean, the job was tedious. You'd be ringing up people and giving them a quote or renewing their insurance for their car or their home insurance. And I just wasn't into the job at all. I was let go with 2 other people that started with me Friday afternoon, and they said, you can finish out the day or you can go home. No, it's up to yourself. And I thought, well, I'm not seeing out the rest of the day. So I went down, I packed up my stuff, and I said, I'll see you guys. And I left. I was also sitting my driving test as well. And this is the funny thing. My driving test was across the road, and it was like at lunchtime.
Right.
And so I didn't want to leave the area. So I left the building.
So let me just clarify. Your driving test happened the same day as you got fired from this job?
Yes.
Oh, Jesus Christ. So you're distraught.
My
You're going into your
driving theory test. I had to go over to sit the theory test.
Okay.
And I think I failed that as well. I had to wait for my appointment for my theory test. It was across the road. I had about 20, 30 minutes. But of course, it was lunchtime. So then everybody I said goodbye to was coming and going for their lunch. And they're all stopping me and saying, what happened? Are you all right? And blah, 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 blah. And then I'm outside like going, yeah, I got fired. And then you have these awkward conversations. And we've been on work nights out and fucking Christmas parties and stuff. And they're like, oh, I'm sorry. Well, look after yourself. And they're going back in. It's like, it was like being kicked out of school or something.
I'd have the invisible dog that only I could see, because then I know that I can take care of it and it'll be safe. Doesn't need to worry about anybody else. I'll take all the shit. People can think I'm mad. There he is walking around with his invisible dog.
Yeah.
As long as the dog's happy, I'll be happy.
That would be a great short film. You could see it being one of those fun little quirky indie movies. No one else can see this dog, but he can see the dog. He believes it 100%. He even opens up a dog shelter for other imaginary dogs, and he finds other people out there who also have, and he starts this little community and a podcast about like how do you feel about having him being in a world where people don't see your invisible dog or imaginary dog.
What in the name of dog? That's what you could call it.
It's a good movie. Go write it.
No. I've got a question for you actually about writing. Would you rather write 100 drafts of a script for real disrespectful assholes, but it will become a bona fide classic because of your hard work and they'll never give you credit for it? Or would you rather write one draft of a script for a film that never gets made, but regardless, you're paid the exact same?
Oh, okay. I need to. That's 100 drafts of a script. Jesus
and
Christ.
The people you're working with are bastards.
Versus one draft of a script that...
For a film that never gets made, but you get paid the same money.
I'll take the one draft of a script, because that means I don't have to write 100 drafts. It's the same either way.
We know what Will feels about art.
I'm not getting...
suffer for it.
I'm getting 100 drafts with bastards. That's torture. That's an absolute torture. The ceremony was at around 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock. It was an early wedding, and the priest was a young enough priest, maybe in his mid-50s. And I remember at the actual mass, he was on fire. Like, he was letting jokes off up at the altar and had us all in stitches. Like, he was just one of these gas crack priests, And before the meal, I remember I used to smoke back then. Imagine that. This is how long ago it was.
You used to smoke?
Yeah, I used to smoke. I was a hard man. I had tattoos and everything all across my forehead. The whole lot. I just didn't deal.
Why did you take up smoking?
Because I wanted to look cool. That's the reason. So I remember going outside. This is before the meal, where all the smokers were. And there was the priest by, and he was holding court outside with the smokers. I was like, this guy is brilliant.
With a spliff.
Well, no, it wasn't a split, but he was fucking doing everything. But the one thing that kind of signaled that something was a bit off was we're outside in the middle of the day, and he was turning around and he was like, anyone for a song? And I went, it's a bit early to be starting a sing song around 2 o'clock in the daytime. Normally that's something you kind of say. The next thing I know, right, flash forward to the end of the meal, right? The end of the main course is gone. We're waiting for dessert. And all of a sudden, I see the priest.
Don't tell me he's asleep.
He's not, because he's not asleep. He's been carried past our table by two lads, arm in arm. He walks past our table, right?
He langers.
A girl at our table. She had finished, she had stopped eating her meal, so she had like half a plate of Spuds mashed potatoes left. And he saw the mashed potatoes on this girl's plate, and he lunged across the shoulder. He says, you finished that? And he slapped his hand into her plate, grabbed a fist of mashed potatoes and shoved them into his mouth. They're grand. And he was carted off.
What county was this wedding in?
I'm giving specifics, but it was in Kerry.
My God, he was langers.
Jesus.
So he must have been on the blessed wine from like 9 that
He
morning.
was fucking drunk from the night before. Oh, fuck, it was fucking
my God.
hilarious. It was, and the other, you were talking about giving speeches.
Yeah.
And the poor bride's either dad or uncle, he was an old man, stood up to give a speech, and everyone went, shh, and it's like a frail old man stood up to give it, shh, it's Uncle Joe's giving a speech. Jesus, Uncle Joe hasn't spoken in 50 years. He was kind of like that. He was that kind of thing. And he was a small little man. And
Wait for the wisdom that's going to come.
So, Kevin, this is what happened. So I was only going to work for you. So Uncle Joe gets the microphone, and
His hand
takes
is
the
shaking.
microphone, and the hand is shaking, and the hand goes up, and he goes, what he did was he held the microphone up to his ear like it was a telephone, and he started saying his words. And his niece, who was beside him, one of the bridesmaids, kind of reached up and slowly pulled his hands down, and you could hear his voice, and she's a lovely girl, and she let go of his hand, and his hand just went back up to his ear. And no one could hear anything. It was a visual gag, and I just went, remember this.
That's hilarious.
That's
hilarious.
It's one of those moments like Tom Hanks at the end of Saving Private Ryan. Remember this. Remember this.
Oh, God.
Oh,
not like a good wedding.
Oh, weddings can be gas.
When did you take up smoking?
Oh, Jesus. I can't remember, to be honest with you. I remember having a cigarette when I was in secondary school. That's what I do. I remember that.
You don't strike me as the sort that would be bumming for fags.
Oh, man. Listen, anything that was, like, come here.
Keep your hands occupied.
That was just...
Otherwise, you'd be swinging fists.
Listen, man, I was a different man back then. I was working a corner.
You were a fella that go into the bar and you'd lean on the bar all night and just watch everybody.
Oh, yeah. I
waiting
would
for some queer looks to start swinging.
I was one of these boys. I was sitting there with a pint in one hand and a short and a fucking frown on my face, and I'd be smoking without hands, just all lips,
Where were you when news of the Queen dying happened?
Where you're looking at me right now in my office.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'll never forget where I was.
Where were you?
I was on the shitter looking at my phone.
Appropriate. From one throne to another.
Would you rather have a conversation with your favourite fictional character from a movie or with the actor who has played that character?
I would... No, I don't know who my fictional character would be. I would prefer to talk to the actor.
So you'd sooner talk to, say, like Sigourney Weaver rather than Ellen Ripley?
I sooner prefer to talk to, let's say, I prefer to talk to Harrison Ford. And I prefer to, because I would be, let's say, if Indiana Jones is my favourite character, I sooner prefer to talk to Harrison Ford because of his career and all those things versus talking to Indiana Jones going, Jesus, Indiana Jones, how did you, what was it like seeing all those heads melt, all those Nazis fucking just blowing up and shit like that? Or, my God, Indiana Jones, how was it like being in that pit with all those snakes? Imagine. I mean, you don't have much to ask because you've seen how he got on. He says, well, I'll tell you how he got on.
But you could almost become
I've
their
seen the
friend
film.
then and sort of tag along.
But what if they don't like you?
You could be mid-round.
I would be extra large round.
Double round.
Yeah. And I would say, oh, Indy, come here. Any other adventures there now that you've been on that I don't know about? And I'd love to hear about them.
Would I soon have a conversation with Superman or would I soon have a conversation with Christopher Reeve? I think I'd go with Superman.
Would you? What sort of stuff would you want to talk to him about?
I'd be like, can I have a spin?
Can you read minds?
I just think it'd be a more interesting world if that happened. I'd be as Jimmy Olsen.
Do I have cancer?
Oh God! Call back.
And yesterday I was doing the homework with the kids, and I was looking down. I was kind of amazed by how more advanced at the old Gaeilge they are than I am at the age of, like my son at the age of 8. And I was looking at their Irish book and I went, I think I'd like to sit on your lessons. I'd like to join his class, second class Irish.
There's a lot more Irish speakers in Donegal, isn't there?
Yeah, and the big problem is we've said it before, we've done the Caplack thing. Ulster Irish, totally different pronunciation of same words on the page, pronunciation is absolutely totally different.
I remember for our Leaving Cert in Ireland, for those that aren't Irish, is our version of the A-levels, or what would they call them in the States? The SATs?
Probably, yeah.
It's like your final exam that you do in high school or secondary school.
Yeah.
That you're about 17, 18 when you do it. But the Leaving Cert is very intense, or it was when we were doing it. It was like 7 or 8 subjects, 2 weeks of testing, 2 hours per paper. And there might be 3 papers and one, like English or history might have 1 paper, but maths had 2 papers. Then French would have an oral exam and the actual paper exam.
Mm-hmm. Irish
God,
was the
the
same.
Leaving Cert was stressful.
That was the Leaving Cert was the most difficult examination I've ever done in my life, ever. And I've got a degree and a master's.
We prepped for it. Oh my God. We prepped for a year. What was it? 2 years. You
2
started
years.
it 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
2 years of building up to one exam, your Leaving Cert, and the pressure that builds up, and you start to notice a change in people because the people in the class stop. A lot of people in the class stop being we're just in school, we're learning, we've got our homework, whatever. You know that there's a big event coming, and people start to put their head down and really get tense about it. And I was going the opposite direction.
I was the opposite direction too. Totally.
I was giving up. I was like, well, what's this for? This is for fucking nothing. I don't want to go and do BizOrg. God, I could be done now if I did that.
I got into, it was like after, I was like a great student up to third year.
Said.
You could be done. Oh, I heard you. And I'm all against anti-Don comments. So I didn't find it funny, Kevin, because Don is a fucking sound man and he's got a career I wish I had. And he loves me. He hates you.
I do this podcast so that Don will get a shock while he's driving and go off the road. Don McCool!
For those listeners who aren't on...
Look!
For those of our Patreon listeners who aren't on Discord, please, do yourselves a favor. Get on Discord because the crack is mighty up there.
We have loads of people that join the Discord. They're active for like a day. They're like, and then they vanish because they realize it's like 200 notifications of people just saying, fuck Don.
It's not people. You. It's you. It's you. Hey, I want to go back onto Leaving Cert.
Okay.
So I was a great student up to third year. And third year, at the end of third year, was kind of the year, because I was young. I was kind of like, I was one of those kids who started school when they were 3. Because of my birthday was in the middle of the year. So they were like, oh, will we hold on to you to next year or put you in now? And my mother, I was the third child. So my mother went, fuck this shit. I'm not going to hang around the house with a child for this long. He's going to school now. So I was in school at 3. So
I've read that it's not in the best interest of the kid to be in a class with kids that are a year older than them.
You always feel it.
It doesn't sort of advance you. You actually feel like the runt.
Yes. I was one of I could definitely felt like the runt. And I also felt the other lads, there was about 6 of us who had birthdays around February, March. And we all kind of like ganged together. We could feel, we were at the same kind of like height, at development. And I definitely felt it going into secondary school, because you're going into secondary school. We went from a small school to a secondary school, which had like, there was maybe 100 plus kids in our year. And you felt like these men, you're going in with your squeaky voice and there were men in the same class as you shaving and all that sort of stuff.
I swear, when we went into secondary school, you look around and you think, my God, Jesus, right? We're really in the mix here. It's fucking bedlam. There was 1,000 lads and there were fights every 2 days.
Oh, so
it was a proper fight.
So yours was an all boys secondary school?
My secondary school felt like I'd gone to prison.
Oh, God.
It was like a prison yard. But when I got to 6th year then, and you look back at the first years coming in, they're like little children.
Yeah.
They're tiny.
Yeah.
And now when I look at the secondary school kids, whenever I'm home and I pass up the North Mon, my school, and you see them coming out of school, the 6th years and whatever, they're like little children. They're little boys.
Yeah.
And you think, they think they're big men and they're so fresh-faced and it's amazing.
Yeah.
I remember about a couple of years ago, I was waiting for the bus, last bus of the night, and a police car pulled up, just doing its rounds. And 2 policemen got out, and I don't know what they were doing. They were probably just like having a walk. But when I saw them, I thought,
Walk.
that's what they do.
Yeah. Holding hands.
And I was looking at him going like, he's 15 and he's in a policeman's uniform and he's wearing his big belt and his big jacket and he's smaller than me. And I'm thinking, if he came up to me and said, hands behind your back, I'd be like, or what? Because he's like a kid. Anyway.
I didn't give a fuck about school. I was passing out.
How did you do on your leaving cert?
Terribly. I failed. You
failed exam?
Oh, yeah.
I
failed physics.
Yeah.
There's a story behind why I failed as well.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah. Do you know, I remember you do science up to third year, and then science gets split into 3 subjects, physics, chemistry, and biology.
Yeah.
And I remember I was very good at science. And so I thought, I'll stick with the science subjects. Fuck me. I chose biology and chemistry.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do physics because of the maths. And I remember you only had about 2 days, I think, before you could change your mind to switch classes. I remember 2 days into chemistry thinking, uh-oh, I need to get out of this class.
Yeah.
Also, I didn't like my teacher. And I desperately wanted to switch to geography or history.
Yeah.
Because they were the easy subjects. They were logical. It was just what
storytelling.
It was graspable.
Yeah.
Chemistry was just neutrons and atoms and I regretted it right up to leaving cert because studying for an exam that you knew you were going to fail no matter what.
That's what happened to me in physics. And I wanted to change to history. I desperately because I think I got an A in junior cert history. And not only did
all the lads that did history
just
smashed it.
Yeah, you just like it was a subject I loved. It wasn't just I can easily do. I love and to this day love history. Physics.
We should tell people as well that when you're doing this exam, there are points that you get. So you're playing essentially for points, and the more points you accumulate based on the result that you get, that point system is put towards your place in university. So like the maximum, or it used to be the maximum, is 600 points.
Yeah.
And a lot of the CAO, the university courses would be like, you want to do, I don't know. You want to do...
It's 400 points, really, kind of like to get into a university.
You want to do accountancy, and it's like 480 points or something.
Yeah.
And I think I got 320.
Right, Kevin, I think I came in the same as you. My God, we're twins. We should do a podcast together. So
we're also water signs.
Yeah, we're different water signs, aren't we? I'm the Pisces. You explained to me recently the difference between the water signs.
Do you know why?
Mystic
because
Kev.
I'm fucking slammed by astrology videos on TikTok, and I can't get rid of them.
Right.
So I've looked at one, and obviously that goes on to the next one. And once you comment, you fucking may as well say, like, give me everything in the world to do with astrology.
Yeah.
So I've been bombarded with astrology. And the worst star sign is Cancer, which is what I am. Everybody hates Cancer for some reason. Or maybe that's just the algorithm telling me, we hate you. We hate you.
Karen's a Cancer, so I'm married to a Cancer. And I'm married to Cancer.
No, it's Cancer. This is where it gets all, stupid. Cancer men. Cancer women are okay.
Ah. That's interesting.
Cancer men are considered to be emotional, needy. Somebody said something which is like, you hang out with them 4 days, and if you arrange to meet them on the 5th day, if you don't show up, they'll be around your house 2 a.m. with a bat.
Do you ever think about changing star signs?
There's actually something that's meant to be quite important to your star sign, which is like whether you're a sun rising or a moon rising or something. And I don't know how you get that. I don't know how you figure out what that is. Do you know what time you were born?
Do I know? No, because when I asked my mother what weight was I, my poor mother, I say, Peggy, what weight was I when I was born? And her response was, there was no weight when you were born.
Yeah, you just flew out.
There was no weight. They didn't do weight back then.
I was 7'11".
Oh, I like your... I've been to your shops.
I'm telling everybody that I cover it in Star Wars, that me and Will have done a Star Wars, and I've got 6 months before I get found out.
Okay, so the narrative will now be that Kevin is actually the guy behind it all. Jason is codename for Kevin. Kevin was the man behind it all. Without you, Kevin, I am nothing.
I'm going to clip that. Didn't you once tell me that you did a pilgrimage to Skywalker Ranch to try and find the place?
Yes, I'm shocked that you remember that. I did, yeah. So 22 years ago, when I was a young lad, my first time ever on a plane, first time out of the country, on my last weekend said to Sean Mishdale, actor brother of mine, do you want to go on an adventure?
Is he the fella from Ross na Rún?
Yeah, Sean Mishdale and myself.
Oh my God.
He's been on it for 20 years, 22 years nearly, I suppose.
And I suppose he doesn't know that you've made it.
No, I actually meant to send him a picture, but he probably would kind of go, what? What was that? I don't remember that. We got on a bus. We went up the freeway over the Golden Gate Bridge. I had guessed where a bus stop was, and I said, we can get off here. We got off the freeway, and we walked for a few miles with vultures circling overhead and lizard and snakes at our feet and such. Didn't get as far as the gates, but got as far as a garage sale, the small, little, quiet little Stepford Wives-like town where a couple of Americans heard our accents and gave us beers. And we told them where we were going to, and they went, well, it's just a couple of miles up the road, but they're just gates. You won't see anything. It's just like, there's just gates. And there it was last week, 22 years later, going up the same freeway, past the same little town. I spotted the bus stop, and I remember they've now added a cycle lane on the path we were walking on the verge of the road. And I remember passing that Stepford Wives type town, only we went up winding roads and we came to those wooden gates. But this time we were let inside, which was surreal. I will say it was surreal.
Was there a tannoy system around the ranch that would declare it like, curfew is in effect.
No.
Return to your sleeping quarters. Curfew is in effect.
No, man, it wasn't like that at all.
Every single report, even if it was like good student, applies himself or whatever, I would always get too talkative. On
keeps interrupting sentences.
Every single school report, all the way up until I stopped doing them, it was always blah, 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 too talkative.
We should do school reports for each other. We should give our Patreon school reports to do for us.
Well, you know what they're going to say.
Only Don can fill it in.
I'm not doing any editing to this, Will.
Perfect. Yeah.
Mini Bits Raw. That's what I call it. Mini Bits Raw.
After dark and raw.
On the Second Rate Show episode, I asked Will, do you know the song Green Door by Shakin' Stevens? And of course he didn't, because who does? And I said, sing us a bit of it. And Will just sung 2 lines. And so I then took those 2 lines and did a whole mega mix and put it at the end of the episode.
It's a delight.
Which you can hear.
I hope they'll play it at my funeral.
Soon.
That's my one request, my dying wish.
I'm going to be at your funeral with the boombox held overhead with John Cusack playing, I got my green door. Fucking Putin, fucking Twitter, fucking...
It highlighted to me.
Ignorant cunt.
It was so funny. It was just like, all of a sudden, oh my God, I do swear on the mini bits so much, which I don't do in my real life. I'm not going to swear. I swore too much in the last mini bits. This is what fucks me up. Fucking proper looking cunts. Fucking Putin. Fucking Twitter. Fucking petty. Just fucking fuck off. Talking to you stupid cunt. Cunt. And the little son was a little mini cunt. Prick you. Fuck me.
Would you rather stink of shit and not know it? Or always smell stinking shit coming off everyone else? Go on.
Oh, God. Okay.
Think about it pragmatically. Can you live with everybody thinking you stink of shit? Or could you tolerate having to be surrounded by everybody stinking of shit?
Just immediately conjured up a humiliating moment of my life, right?
What is it with you and scatological humour?
It's funny. Oh, can I tell you, sorry? Can I tell you something about Scat? Oh, I've got it. Because when we were on the Twitch stream, you said save it for the mini bits.
Well, I know what the music is going to be when to play us out. It's going to be the Scat Man.
Save it for the mini bits, right? So I have to tell you this one. So at the beginning of the episode, you brought up Fred, right? So on Saturday night, I went
Leave my pussy alone.
I went into the room where I said, okay, went to where we have the video game set up or whatever. And I said, right, I'll go in here and do a stream. This is literally before I went on streaming on Saturday night. And I went to move a chair out of the way and put it into the corner. When I went into the corner, I looked down in the corner and I saw in the fucking corner a shit in the corner.
What did you do?
And that day, because it's been cold, we've been leaving Fred inside the house because it's been cold and I don't want him to freeze to death. So that day we'd gone to Letterkenny or something that day, and we'd let Fred in the house. Normally he'd never do anything like that, and I just went, "Oh, Fred, fuck's sake, man!"
And it was like stinks.
And it was like, it wasn't like it was a real watery kind of like wet one.
Oh, fuck's sake, Will.
Right?
No one needs to hear this.
But listen, right? So I go into Karen, I go, "Karen, for fuck's sake." And Fred was sitting on her lap, and I was like, "Fucking Fred, what did you do today? He's never staying in the house ever again. That's him done." And I went into the press, I got out gloves, got kitchen towels, got I was asking Karen, what spray do I use? And she was describing, use this Dettol one and use that one, this one, and all this sort of stuff. Got bowls and filled it with hot water and all this sort of stuff. I went back in. It took me about 3 trips in and out, getting myself prepared to clean up Fred's shit in the corner. I was expected to be wet because it was like a little puddle,
Just and I got like a bar of chocolate.
I steeled myself, right? No, it was kind of like, it was like a wet kind of like a...
All right.
So I went down, I steeled myself.
This is one of your 1 second pictures.
And I got out the kitchen towel was going to be my first move. And I went, okay, just do a kitchen towel, blab on it, and let's see what it is. Let's see what texture it is. I pressed down the kitchen towel on top of it, and I went, oh my God, it's hard. What the fuck? And I started just kind of scrunching it up. And I picked it up and it came out in one big lump. And it was a prank. The kids had put it there as a fucking prank.
It was a rubber poo.
It was like plastic poo. It was a plastic pool of poo that the kids had put in the corner. And I spent about 10 minutes just in a huff about this fucking shit that was in the corner. I felt like such a fucking dope.
I was going to tell you to put down a tray where that cat had shit because the cat will shit in that spot again and again and again and again. But there you go. Gotta watch those kids, they're feral.
Oh, yeah. So that's the story you said. No, save it for the mini bits. So that's me telling you the story.
Okay.
That's what happened. Okay, Scatman. Put the Scatman music on.
Okay. I used to love that song. I used to be able to say all the words as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you not have better things to do?
Well, I did invent the shake weight. See ya.
Look.
Hot cock and the cunt.
Listen to me.
Listen to me.
I've got my green door, and it's so green, so green, so green, and it's so.
Yeah. I've got my door.
Green door.
My green door. And it's so green, so green. Yeah. I got my green door. My green door. It's so green. Yeah.
My green door. I got my green door.
Do you know how much I adore my green door?
My green door.
I got my green door.
It's so green. Yeah. It's so green. Green door.
Green.
This is what fucks me up. Fucking proper looking cunts. Fucking Putin, fucking Twitter. Fucking petty. Just fucking fuck off. Talking to you, you stupid cunts. Cunt, and little son is a little mini cunt prick.
I got my green door.
I can't finish a sentence. I can't finish a fucking sentence.
Shut up, bitch!
Ignorant as fuck.
Yeah.
Listen to me. Listen to me. Right? Because fucking Kevin won't let me finish a fucking sentence. Imagine if I just get back. Oh, God. He's harder to manage than 2 children. 3 children.
Oh my God.
Oh, God. Just immediately conjured up
a humiliating moment of my life. Humiliating moments of my life.
And the BAFTA goes to...
This is the reason we can't put these out on the main feed, right?
Have you won a BAFTA?
Imagine if we're recording the main show right now.
Oh, God.
Well, might win 2 then. I know what to mean like that.
And there was a good long queue behind us. And I just got this fucking waft. And I just went, someone smells shit here.
And the BAFTA goes to Will Collins.
And the commander wins.
Someone fucking smells shit. Oh! It was...
Patreon!
I got the green door!
Fuck me.
And here is a clip from the lads' latest Mini Bits bonus show. The full episode, plus 80 more, are available on their Patreon.
See ya, Mossy. I gotta go in and record another one of these fucking Mini Bits.
Oh, yes, this is all it is.
I know. What are you doing?
Right now, on the Academy screener site, and I hit play, because there's only a few films on it for the first month or two. There's only like about less than 10 films on it. And Guy Ritchie's The Covenant is on here. So I hit play on that, and I'm hearing we're out in Afghanistan, and I'm hearing all the dirt, and I hear vehicles, and I hear the sound effects of characters walking. But when characters open their mouths, I don't hear any dialogue.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
there's no dialogue.
They've uploaded the wrong audio track. It's like that Tom Cruise trailer where it was just the sound effects.
Have you met an SP?
Yeah, and this film has been up on the screener site for a few weeks now, and they still have the wrong one here. Well, I tell you what films are actually up there for all Academy members to see, and to see what they've put up there.
But first of all, let's just throw to our theme. And I have to say, the feedback from my thank you ballad was quite fierce.
The power of Christ compels you!
So I asked Mossy, who is a friend of my dad's at the quiz, sing us a theme tune.
Oh.
So over to Mossy.
Hit the cards. I'm fine, I'll get it done in one take. It's the Mini Bits. Or podcast, like will they say? With Will and Kevin Cock.
The best fucking podcast.
That'll do.
That'll do.
My God.
Thank you, Mossy.
He would make an angel weep. That voice would make an angel weep.
Telling you.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Boolabus.
It only cost us 2 months Patreon money, so, you know.
Is that all? Money well spent, in my eyes.
Yeah. I mean, you can't get much for €20. Will, you were telling me before the intro that you were looking at stuff on the Academy Screeners website.
The Academy Awards. So for official members, yes. So they don't send out DVDs anymore. So how you do all your streaming stuff is all via the Academy website. And the streaming season has begun, which is exciting. So it means for the rest of the year...
Did it ever end?
It does end. It does. After the Academy Awards, there's about 2 weeks, and they take all the films down, and then they begin again at the end of August, and they all start coming up. So it's a whole new collection of hopefuls.
So how many films are on there?
Right now, about 10. Actually, 10 exactly. I can tell you the 10.
Oh, go on, tell me.
John Wick 4.
For the Oscars. Oh, because there's like...
Yes, because they're adding in stunt category, aren't they?
Are they adding it in? Is the stunt category being added?
I believe they're adding in some sort of stunt category.
Breaking news straight from an Academy member's mouth.
Because they're adding in stunt category, aren't they?
Slash film.
I don't know. Did I read this in an article? I feel they were.
I
felt they were.
Have long overlooked stunts, and my God, it's pure artistry.
Yeah.
And it is incredibly well these days. It's all fucking rubber computer generated avatars.
That's why we should that's why these people should be getting their Oscars when someone's actually gone out then. Yeah,
go back,
absolutely.
Go back and give it to your man from Mad Max who broke his legs.
and give it to Richard Farnsworth, who was a stuntman and starred in The Straight Story. Yeah, Richard Farnsworth was a career stuntman.
Oh.
Absolutely.
Wasn't that also the case with Machete? What's your man, Machete? Danny Trejo.
Danny Trejo.
Is
Really?
it Trejo or Trejo?
I always call him Trejo, but he just says, call me Danny.
I was going to say that back to you.
Nah.
I was like, just
weird.
Because we just call him